Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another video in what I'd like to call deck chair history. It's like armchair history, but even less professional. Anyway, last time we left off, you were wondering who was going to succeed Numa Pompilius. And guess what? It's this guy, Tullus Hostilius. And he's called Hostilius for a reason, because, and he's Tullus Hostilius, and he'll mess up anyone who gets in his way. So yeah, Hostilius was, you may guess, that he was hostile. I mean, that would be a reasonable prediction to make, and as a matter of fact, he was. There are two definite historical events attributed to his reign, and I'm really sorry I'm not giving dates for all of these, but, like, in the early Roman kingdom, it's really messed up. But anyway, you can just safely assume that he was between in 600 and 500 BC. Anyway, so this guy Tullus Hostilius, he's pretty warlike. So one of the early things he does as king is he makes war on this city here, Alba Longa. I'll just move this little jolly fellow out of the way. Anyway, so, yeah, he really disliked Alba Longa, which, if you didn't know, was, one of the cities founded by, if you remember Aeneas in the first episode. He had several children, and one of the children founded Alba Longa, and, it had risen to become very powerful in the region, so obviously a definite rival for Rome, and it was the head of the Latin League, so the Latins were the native people that were there before Aeneas and his Trojans arrived, according to the myth. So they had created a collection of cities that were allied, called the Latin League, and they had become very powerful. So Tullus Hostilius basically decided to attack Alba Longa, Anyway, eventually it was decided that the battle should be realized through basically a single combat, except it's a 3v3. This is not the first time that PvP has decided wars, nor will it be the last. Anyway, there were six triplets. Three of them were the Horatii, who were representing the Romans, and three were the Curiatii, who were representing the Albans. Obviously this is all according to legend, but, according to the legend, the three Horatii and the three Curiatii duked it out, until, basically what happened was this. They all rushed at each other, and, two of the Horatii were killed, in the first couple of minutes of fighting. So obviously there was only one of them left, and he was smart. So what he did was, he basically he lined up the Curiatii one by one. So basically, this little Curiatii attacked first, and he was the freshest of the three, and Horatius absolutely annihilated him, and just kicked his butt completely. Then, they basically just came one by one, and Horatius killed them one by one. So, that was bad luck for them, that they didn't have good strategy. Anyway, that was the story of the first war with Alba Longa. Horatius was very brave. There's even a painting about it, if you want to look at that. I might link it in the description. Anyway, so obviously Horatius was very brave. Woohoo! And, that is his story complete. So anyway, Alba Longa was basically, after this, it got utterly destroyed. All of the citizens were forced to move to Rome. And if you didn't know, fun fact, one of the main Alban families that moved to Rome was the Julii. If any of you have ever heard of Julius Caesar, this is where his family's destiny as a Roman citizen started. Anyway, this guy, whose name is Medius Fufetius, or at least I think that's his name. I'm sorry if I'm getting some of this wrong, like, but anyway, this guy Medius Fufetius, or was it Fufinius? Whatever. Anyway, he's basically made an ally of Rome, and he gets to like, I guess, integrate all the Albans into the Roman population. The second thing that we can most definitely attribute to Tullus Hostilius's reign is the building of the Senate House. If I can actually select it, excuse me. Anyway, so basically, this was the first time that any of the senators had actually gotten a building of their own. Alright, so basically, obviously, he built the Senate House, the senators were very pleased, and a lot of people were made very happy. Now that that's done, we can talk about the third and final thing that happened during Tullus Hostilius' reign. If this would stop freezing on me. Seriously, I think I might need better drawing tools. I'm using Sketchpad. I'm using Sketchpad right now, and it's pretty good. Hasn't broken so far, but if any of you have any better drawing tools to suggest, please let me know in the comments. So anyway, Hostilius is once again making war against his like terrible evil enemies, the Etruscans. Now, keep in mind, I'm portraying them as the devils because to the Romans that's what they were at this point. They were to the north in north central Italy, and they were really, really terrifying. They were advanced, and they basically started off the Roman civilization. So anyway, Tullus Hostilius was fighting the Etruscans, but you know what the Etruscans did? They bribed Fufetius, who was still obviously not at home with the idea of being a Roman citizen. They bribed him, to basically desert to the Etruscans. So obviously, Fufetius took the bribe, and when the time came in the big battle, Fufetius deserted. Well, Tullus Hostilius was really mad about this, so basically he whooped the Etruscans and made them run away, and you know what happened to Fufetius? He had a very gruesome execution, and it was so gruesome I'm not even going to just delete him. He gets the full X over the eyes treatment. So, that is... And there goes Fufetius, and basically that's all that really happened during the reign of Tullus Hostilius. The final thing that happened, supposedly, was that Tullus Hostilius was not a religious man. He thought Numa was, spouting a load of baloney, wouldn't you know? And basically, one time, when he was growing pretty old, he decided to try out religion for the first time and maybe see if it wasn't a load of baloney, Unfortunately, he messed up something. We don't know exactly what it was. It was supposed to be, I think, a sacrifice to Jupiter. He messed up something or other. This is how badly the sacrifice went. And he was in his house one day, a couple days later, and a thunderbolt struck it, and everyone died. And that seems to be the end of Tullus Hostilius. Alright, so now we're going to be talking about the next king of Rome that was after Tullus Hostilius. So obviously after he got struck by lightning, I say this within quotes, obviously someone had to succeed him, but not immediately. So what the Roman Senate did is they made a small interregnum, just like to decide who it was, and eventually they picked Ancus Marcius. Now, Ancus Marcius was the grandson of Numa, who, if you've seen the earlier videos, you'll know was the second king of Rome. And he seemed like a pretty peaceful guy, also pretty into religion, like his grandfather. So everyone expected him to be a pushover. Most of all, the Latin League. So the Latin League, obviously, was this loose confederation of cities. They're probably the closest allied to Rome, but also kind of hostile to them. Anyway, because they thought that the big regional power of Rome was finally, going to die, because of its quote-unquote weak and ineffectual ruler, what they did was they attacked. Except Ancus Marcius, peace-loving though he may have been, was no pushover. One of his main acts that we remember him for today was from Rome, to carve a path of destruction throughout Latium, which is the name of the region, and do one of the acts that probably started the Roman Empire altogether, which is capture the harbor of Ostia. Now, since Ostia was on the sea, the Tyrrhenian Sea, it afforded a great sea route along in the western Mediterranean. So, all the ships would go like this. And anyway, he also conquered a sizable body of land from the Etruscans in the north. The Etruscan League was a loose confederation of cities that was basically, I guess, opposed to Rome. They were the main evil dudes at that point for Rome. So, obviously, Ancus Marcius, he did several things, including raising a city, and carving a path of destruction throughout this countryside. And eventually, he stopped making war on the Latins. But by the time he was done, most of Latium was now firmly opposed to attacking Rome because of the consequences that would bring. Now, the other thing that Ancus Marcius is remembering for was, I guess, disseminating knowledge to the people. You see, since his grandfather was Numa, what Ancus Marcius did was that he put up all the religious writings of his grandfather in the public forum, so that all could read it, and basically he disseminated public knowledge, and that's the other thing he's remembered for. Now, eventually, after a long and prosperous reign, Ancus Marcius, kicked the bucket, and he breathed his last. Now, Ancus Marcius had 2 sons, and his 2 sons were expected to inherit the kingship. However, the thing that Ancus Marcius had done that really makes the last 3 kings of the Roman kingdom memorable was that, if I could, was this guy. The guy I'm highlighting right now, that is Lucius Tarquinius Priscus. Now, Lucius Tarquinius Priscus, if you don't know him, was the 5th king of Rome, and he started the only real dynasty in the history of the kingdom. So, he was born of mixed Etruscan and Greek heritage. So that is, he was from this region, partly, and also partly from the Greek colonies in the south. So, like Naples, for example. Naples was a major Greek colony. And because of this, people really distrusted him. They didn't want him to be the next king. But since Ancus Marcius was dead and he didn't explicitly name an heir, guess what happened? That is, if I'm... Yeah, Tarquin declared himself king. I'm just going to put these on, and because of this, people didn't really like him, but he seemed fairly confident and able, and but his sons, at least one of them, would have horrible consequences for the Roman kingdom, but probably great consequences on Rome overall because of their death. Um, I think that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, blah blah blah, hit the bell icon, and see you all next time.